state for the record that the council member Martin is out due to death in the family, so we offer our condolences to her. Town clerk is not here due to a medical situation, so we'll provide her with a recording so she can do that. Okay, so first item on the agenda is public comment. This is a time for public to make comment, and when you step to the microphone, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Kathy Donlin from Wildwood Drive in West Hurley. And my question is there any updates on getting the RFP for our drainage work? I saw it on the agenda that there was drainage issues tonight, so I wanted to see if we have any updates.
The town will discuss that this evening.
Thank you.
Can we just make
Hello?
Yeah.
Is there a switch?
Is there a switch on the top of it?
Yeah.
One of the 2 meetings I had.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, you can move it up too.
It's all right, I don't know. Elizabeth Harper, Joyce Lane. I'm representing, I think, most of us on Joyce Lane. Several people are away. First of all, thank you for putting the speed monitor up. Any chance you could turn it around? Catch the other people on the other side coming the other way? And we wanted to know an update as to what the plan, because it's not really changing the speeders. I've been working from home this summer and I look right out over the road, and it's as if that speed monitor isn't there, and we want to continue the conversation, and we wanted to make sure that you knew that we were still very much concerned about the traffic, speeding. Not so much traffic, but the speeding.
We are also concerned. We'll get the sign turned around.
The signs have been over.
Could you put a relationship with cop on my driveway?
If I had a magic wand, I would do that.
What number are you?
I can try.
What number are you?
397 across from William,
Okay.
but it'd be hidden on my side.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'll get in touch with you.
So you're giving permission?
This is public comment. Mr. Cerny?
Good evening. My name is Matthew Cerny, 170 Altamont Drive. Here on behalf of my partner as well, Aileen Helsley.
Looks like this.
We have a drainage infrastructure on Altamont Drive is failing. The intersection of Altamont Drive and Gina Court, there's a dry well there that's completely failed. It never drains. It's always full of water.
So tell me how we do that.
Newly constructed driveway further down Altamont Drive affected drainage off of Altamont as well. They used to run towards 209. It now has caused my driveway in my basement is the lowest point now on Altamont Drive. The water comes down off of Gina Court, hits the drip ditch in front of our house, and runs further down Altamont Drive. The culvert under my driveway and under my neighbor's driveway, Bill Samuels, is undersized. The highway superintendent has been there talking with Bill Samuels and agrees it's undersized. But the whole thing is crumbling. The dry well is crumbling. All the ditches are now undermining or broken out. They're undermining the road a little bit. But our driveway sheets water down in a heavy rainstorm, and it floods our basement every time. The problem has gotten much worse in the past 12 months or so as things continue to deteriorate. There's a ditch in between the Samuels residence and the Cintron residence with a large pipe that comes from the opposite side of Altamont, but our side also drains into there. That ditch is full of sediment. We take photographs on a weekly basis. We take videos of it. The town highway department was there today, but there's a limited amount that they were able to do. They cleaned out the culverts under my driveway and under Samuel's driveway, but in all honesty, and I'm sure they would agree, they were very clean to begin with. I keep them clean. I wash them out on a regular basis. If you drive down Altamont, you'll know it's my house because we have sandbags in front of along the driveway that we have to move every time we want to pull out or pull into our driveway. When I came here tonight with today's forecast, I had to line the driveway with sandbags. I understand infrastructure repairs and improvements take time. I understand contracts take time, have to find the funding. I get all that. What we are asking for is, as an emergency measure, to please install a small 6-inch high blacktop berm at the head of our driveway to keep the town water on the town road, so that when that pipe overflows, it stays out on the road. It's only for a few minutes. When it happens, when that pipe is overwhelmed, it's typically only a few minutes it needs to catch back up and drain the way we need it to. It's just because those pipes are overwhelmed that happens. My neighbor Bill Samuels has also contacted the highway department, and the super has been down and looked at it as well. The superintendent knows me. I was in the excavating business for 25 years, focusing on drainage solutions. My partner Aileen is a 23-year employee of DOT, focusing on municipal drainage issues. We know what we're looking at. So I understand it takes time. We get that. We're completely understandable about that. But you can save us a lot of headaches and a lot of property damage if the town can install a berm at my driveway just to keep that water out. We don't mind driving over a big berm every day, but the sandbags are getting old, dragging those across the driveway every day. So thank you, board members, for hearing me out.
Can I ask you a
Thank you
question?
for
Please.
coming.
One, what is your number? What's your house number?
170 Altamont.
And the angle of your driveway, does it run downhill from the road?
Very slightly, yes. But
So
just
that's
enough.
6-inch, so a 6-inch, like basic berm along
Yes.
the road with you going over,
Yeah.
you know, will it bottom out?
No.
Your car, you sure?
No, positive. Positive.
Okay.
So we've tried a couple of different solutions recently. We built a small berm of item 4, which the highway department, to none of their fault, cleaned out today. I think they thought that was part of the problem, and they cleaned it out.
Okay.
Honestly, Aileen will occasionally just drive right over the sandbags. They're 6 inches tall. Neither one of our vehicles bottom out on them. I just need 2 feet by 6 inches would solve our problem and save us a lot of headaches. Our neighbors have been great. Altamont Drive is a great place if you don't know the neighborhood. If we're not home, our pallet of sandbags stays out at the foot of the driveway, and our neighbors will run over when it's raining and drag the sandbags across. So understanding these things take time. If that blacktop berm could be installed, that would save us a lot of headache and a lot of property damage.
Thank you. This is the first I'm hearing of this situation
Okay.
today.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I have a familiar situation. Jill Albert, 31 Brittany Drive, in case anybody doesn't know at this point. So we're just wondering about an update. We know that letters went out, letters came back and got signed. We did speak with Dennis, and he said he was not in receipt of paperwork. So
The paperwork was emailed to him at the end of last week.
you're a rock star. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
We met all your neighbors when we get them.
Yes, great. It's a fun place, Brittany Drive.
It is. It's not even there, it's up on the street.
I know.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment? Hearing none, is there a motion to?
Can I intervene
Yes.
just briefly? Okay, because we have court going on right now, and Amy's going to have a really hard time with the minutes. With the first person who spoke, just you had a very brief comment. Could you just say that again so it's actually recorded now that the microphone is on?
Take 2.
I'm not sure we actually caught it.
I'm Kathy Donlin 7 Wildwood Drive in West Hurley, and I was just looking for an update on the drainage stuff, like the RFP and everything like that for our area.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to close the public comment period?
I made that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. First item is a resolution requested by the Conservation Advisory Committee to appoint Greg Tetrault. Whereas the Town of Hurley Conservation Advisory Committee, this is, Resolution 2023-43. Whereas the Town of Hurley Conservation Advisory Committee was created as part of general municipal law by the state of New York to advise on the development, management, and protection of the municipality's natural resources. And whereas Gregory Tetrault is a 15-year resident of Glenford, who is a strong advocate of environmental sustainability and protection of our shared groundwater and our natural resources. And whereas Greg Tetrault has submitted his bio, which is attached to this resolution, and expressed interest to fill one of the vacant seats. And whereas the CAC has expressed that he would be a useful addition to the committee. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Hurley that Greg Tetrault is hereby appointed as a member of the Conservation Advisory Committee to a 2-year term expiring 2025. That's the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Bombs. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Town Board has been in receipt of the MOA for the collective bargaining agreement in the shared folder on the shared drive for quite some time. Resolution is 2023-44. Whereas the Town of Hurley, here forward is the town, and the United Public Service Employees Union, UPSEU, are parties to a collective bargaining agreement for the term January 1, 2020 through December 31, 2022. And whereas the parties have engaged in good faith negotiations in an effort to arrive at a successor collective bargaining agreement, CBA, and whereas the parties have reached a tentative settlement covering the period January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2025, and further wish to commit such to writing, and whereas the parties hereto agree that the current CBA and all its terms and conditions of employment set forth shall remain in full force and effect except as herein modified, and whereas unless otherwise noted, all changes shall be prospective from the ratification of the Memorandum of Agreement, MOA. And whereas both the town and UPSEU negotiating committees have agreed to recommend the MOA for approval and recommendation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Hurley that the Memorandum of Agreement between the Town of Hurley and the United Public Service Employees Union as attached hereto is approved and authorizes the Supervisor to sign any final agreement documents consistent therewith, including the final collective bargaining agreement. It's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Next resolution, 2023-45, resolution to hire Erin Stewart as part-time building clerk. Whereas the previous building clerk resigned effective March 2nd, 2023, and whereas Erin Stewart has served as the building clerk through Norman Staffing since March 2023, whereas Erin has now worked the requisite number of hours to end her time with Norman Staffing and become an employee of the Town of Hurley, now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Hurley to hire Erin Stewart to perform the duties of building clerk at a maximum of 30 hours per week at a rate of $17 per hour. That's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Resolution 2023-46, Justice Court Audit. This is for the second quarter. Whereas the Town of Hurley Justice Court has submitted its audit and control records to the Office of the State Comptroller and has certified those records to the Town Supervisor for the past 3 months, April through June 2023. The Hurley Justice has submitted its closed case log for audit to the Hurley Town Board on July 18, 2023. All records are available on scheduled court hours on 24-hour notice to the court for any Town of Hurley board member to review. Therefore, let it be resolved to accept the records as presented. That's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Resolution 2023-47, Justice Court Conference Request. The Hurley Court is requesting permission for Irma Moore to attend the NYS-ANCC Annual Conference from September 17th to the 20th, 2023 at Turning Stone Resort, Verona, New York. There are funds budgeted for that. That's the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I've got a question from Irma about this thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Hurley, Resolution 2023-48. The Hurley Court is requesting permission for the Honorable John E. Parker to attend the New York State Magistrates Conference from October 1st through Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Conference is located at the Marriott Syracuse downtown. That's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that one.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Resolution to authorize supervisor to sign easements, 2023-49. Whereas the Town of Hurley is undertaking drainage improvement projects in the vicinity of Kemble Terrace and in the vicinity of Wildwood Drive, and whereas in connection with the drainage improvement projects, the town has been seeking easements over private property, and whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR, section 617C12, maintenance or repair involving no substantial changes in existing facility and replacement, rehabilitation, and repair of an existing facility are type 2 SECRA actions. And whereas the town has received the following partially executed easements to permit the project: William Bradley and Jane Hansel, Beth C. Warkemper and William Nussbaum, Beth C. Warkemper and Frank and Donna Ronke's Trust. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Town of Hurley that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the easements and associated tax filing forms and cause the easements to be recorded in the office of the Ulster County Clerk.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
These easements are only on Wildwood Drive and Kimball Terrace only.
So far.
Did you have both easements from the Nussbaum and the Roadcapper?
It has it here.
I mean, we have the 4 that were listed off, the ones that were from Rohrkamper and Nussbaum for the property that they share together, and then the one that's just from Rohrkamper for the property he owns individually.
Okay, so those are in there, all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one that Beth Roadcapper owns on her own, that was the one that held the project up for 17 years.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we got it now.
Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried.
Thank you.
Resolution 2023-50, resolution to hire summer interns. Whereas the supervisor's office is looking to provide a valuable opportunity for local students to gain experience and build their resume with local government. And whereas the town is in need of temporary support for its existing employees with day-to-day tasks. And whereas 3 summer interns were interviewed and chosen. Whereas the length of their employment begins July 2023 and ends the Friday prior to Labor Day, September 2nd, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to hire Molly Ty to perform the duties of summer intern in the town hall for a maximum of 20 hours per week at a rate of $14.20 per hour from Fund Line 1620.1. Further be it resolved to hire Anthony Nichols to perform the duties of summer intern in the town hall for a maximum of 20 hours per week at a rate of $14.20 per hour from line 1620.1. Further be it resolved to hire Eric Christian, who is a college graduate and holds a code enforcement certification from New York State, to perform the duties of summer intern in the building department for a maximum of 20 hours per week at a rate of $20 per hour from Fund Line 3520.1. That's the motion. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Last but not least, 2023-51 resolution authorizing a title search. Whereas there is an ongoing dispute regarding ownership and responsibility for the old Hurley burying grounds located at or about 52 Main Street, Hurley, New York, 12443, also known in the records as in the Ulster County Clerk as parcel number 55.8-3-36, and whereas the old Hurley burial grounds contains graves dating back to the early 18th century and is an important cultural and historic landmark, contributing to the Hurley Historic District, a National Register listed historic district, and a National Historic Landmark District. And whereas the assessor of the town of Hurley has reviewed her files and has no current information regarding the ownership and upkeep of the old Hurley burial grounds, and has requested that the town board authorize a more in-depth review of the history of ownership as well as the chain of title for the parcel. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley as follows. 1. The town's attorneys are hereby directed to undertake and complete a title search for the old Hurley burial grounds located at or about 52 Main Street, Hurley, New York, 12443, also known in the records of the Ulster County Clerk as parcel number 55.8-3-36. And 2, within a reasonable time thereafter, the town attorneys are to report the results of the title search to the town board and the assessor of the town of Hurley, and to advise regarding potential future courses of action, ownership, and maintenance.
I second that.
I have a question.
Okay,
What
discussion.
What does reasonable time mean?
That's a good question.
What would you like it to mean? It would
No,
be, I mean, honestly, it's more going to be up to the title search people. I know most title search agencies around here are taking a long time these days. It seems like we still have a lot of people coming up and buying stuff in this area. Probably within a week or two. I mean, it depends what the title search comes back and says.
Yeah, but it's not like 6 months.
No.
Okay,
No, it'll be a few weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
I understand that.
Again, I mean, we have to see what we get. It could be more complicated than just these people own it, these people are responsible for it. So we got to see.
What I can say safely is that towns are ultimately responsible for cemeteries. So that's probably where this is headed, I'm going to guess. I have a little bit of an interest in this. I have long ago ancestors in that burying ground. So anyway, just it's important to maintain it. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Councilmember Humphries has a motion to add. I'm going to read that into the record.
Yeah. This is dated today, July 18, 2023. This is to hire Gabriel Perez to replace Javier Perez Jr.
He's already working for the town.
He's actually already working. Therefore, be it resolved to promote Gabriel Perez to recycling coordinator, as Javier Perez Jr. has resigned his job at the transfer station at the same rate and responsibilities effective 7/19/2023.
That's the motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. If Gabriel's working right now for the town,
Yeah,
he's replacing somebody, who's gonna replace him? Or is that gonna be,
That's a part-time position. We'll get to that. Yeah, we're not,
timers,
Okay.
like summer type
so
things.
we're gonna get someone to replace
We're
that
looking
position?
for-
Yeah, right now, like Saturday and today, I was up there working. Like I worked over the weekend until they get someone up there.
we're a bit short-staffed, so I hope folks are understanding of that. There's a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Okay, so the next item is new business, which isn't really new business. We had a request to issue an RFP for drainage projects. In order for the town board to be able to issue an RFP for a drainage project, we need to have an engineer draw up the specifications to issue the RFP. We have a number of projects, and we cannot possibly solve every single drainage project by using our capital funds this year, right? So there will need to be some long-term thinking and planning about the number of projects stacking up and kind of the queue of how that's going to happen. I put that out there as a opportunity for the town board to have a conversation about where you want to begin, who you want to engage, and what you'd like the timeline to be.
Well, shouldn't it start with the superintendent? I mean, shouldn't they have a say in which one of these projects start? Or list those projects before we go to RFP?
Well, I've been told that we need to do, by the highway superintendent, who's present actually, that we need to go to RFP for both Kemble and Wildwood. But there are others that are obviously coming, right? So.
Yeah, well, I think, so those that are coming, what's gonna happen with those? I mean, Mike, you're here. There are two projects that seem to be large enough that they may have to go to RFP.
The main one right now is the Wildwood, which you have all the easements completed after 17 years of working. And then we're still,
You just gotta, Annie's gotta make the minutes out of this, so we gotta record this as best as possible.
as far as the, I'll bend over instead of trying to embrace it.
You can take it out of the clip.
The Wildwood project's been a long time in the making. We got the last easement from Beth Rohrkamper. Jane Hansel signed the easement and unfortunately passed away within a week of signing the easement. I went to school with Jane for many years, from kindergarten right through high school, so it was a sad day to see her passing. But that project began back when I was supervisor, and we couldn't get an easement on the back property. The property owner wouldn't give us an easement. And finally, Beth Rohrkamper was able to purchase that property, get an easement, and push that project forward. I mean, it's been a long time in the making. It's affecting both Dan and Kelsey Schrodel, Kelsey's mother and father, Les and Cindy Rice, Kathy and her sister, and the Bradleys. And it's been a long time coming, and I'd like to see that project get done. And then you got the Kimball Terrace project, which, did you get your easement in, you and Susan?
No, I have some questions, but I'll follow up with the others.
Because Ron Kesey signed the new ones. I had them signed last year,
Yeah.
and then I guess there was an error with them or something. I don't know what the deal was. And then Shane sent me the new ones. I got them out. Ron Kesey signed yours right away. I left yours with your wife the one day and let you know they were there. And then I had I think it was Chambers and Boone, and I've not been able to contact them, but I left the easements with them to get those signs. So we're waiting on those before we can move forward on Kimball Terrace project, which we're hoping to get done this year also. So then of course we're doing the studies on the Brittany Drive. We were out there again this past week doing a little bit more work on Brittany, trying to help the frost on the corner of Brittany and Dover. I mean, with these rains, it's just crazy. I mean, we don't get showers anymore. We get 2, 3, 4 inches of rain at a shot. Oh, I didn't even see you sitting there.
How you doing?
I knocked on your door the other day when it was hit, but it's just absurd how much rain that we're getting and the things. I mean, you know, Matt's got the issue over there. We had another one. Woman bought a property over on Arnold Drive, and the water was just coming right down Park Lane and right across the street into her driveway and flooding her garage. I mean, it's just nonstop, just nonstop.
So I guess my question is that, so there are 2 projects that are clearly going to be addressed.
The RFP should be ready for both of them. I mean, Rich Ruth had the RFP all prepared for the Wildwood and for the Kimball Terrace. So I mean, it should be just a matter of giving you the paperwork, maybe updating any dates that were in it, but he had the whole pamphlet all ready to go for.
Well, that's useful information to have that I didn't have before, thank you.
But I think the question I have now is that there are several other projects, so.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Right, so what's the plan for those? Is that going to have to come back to the board, or is that something that you are going to just take care of? Can you take care of it?
I can consult with the boards, but my budget is only $135,000 a year. I mean, all these projects that we've done since I took office, we did Sherrill Street, we did Orchard Lane, we did Wall Street, we did Park Drive, we did Hickory, and I know I'm leaving one out there, Chestnut and Laurel. We've done a project every year since I took office. This is the first year that we haven't done one, and because we're trying to catch up on some other work, but it's just been nonstop. And we have to, you know, it might behoove us if we can now with the infrastructure bill, maybe we can find some funding to help supplement 14H. 14H is our stormwater, townwide stormwater fund that was created, I think, in 2001, maybe. But, you know, they've done numerous projects, but they've spaced them out over the years. We got pretty aggressive when I came in, and we did all those projects with the blessing of the board and you know, supplemented our budget with 14H in order to get them done. And we saved a lot of money doing that. I'd like to resume some of that, but again, we need to find some more funding, and I think that the transportation bill may help us. So I think if we have a grant writer and we can go out and be aggressive to try to find some more money, we can get these jobs done. But there's a lot, given the global warming and the amount of rainfall we're seeing, it's just astronomical.
So if we're going out to bid, that'll mean that we're paying a vendor from 14H, just to be clear.
That's the fund that.
How much, you know, what's your estimate of the cost of these 2 projects? If you just had an idea, like ballpark? Because we have like, I think it's $900,000 in 14H.
It's not quite that because we've used some other funds, but
Yeah,
it's more than
we used a little bit of
800.
that up to
800.
finish.
It's more than 800, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we used a little bit of that to finish Hickory this year. We had to topsoil it. We had to buy some topsoil, and then so we're just finishing up. Actually, Callahan was up there today because we got with one of the reps. We didn't like the way that they paved one section of Hickory, and so they came in today and they ground it down, and they're going to re-blacktop it all on their dime, so we don't have to pay anything for that. But you know, all the projects have supplemented. You know, we put all the labor in, but the gravel, the pipe, the fabric. Many of these jobs included a hammer that we had to hammer through rock. Was also included out of 14H, and like I said, it cost about half the price when we do it in-house. That's why I try to do as many as I could, but we're just overwhelmed with the amount of drainage. I'm overworking in Holland trying to get in the back. There's all those easements that run from Ridge, Bristol Court, and Holland across from Davis. That's all needs to get cleaned out, and you know, it's just nonstop.
I don't mean to belabor this question, but I'm trying to figure out how many projects there are in total that we need to be thinking of.
There's just more coming on every day.
Well, there's obviously a set of.
Where Matt was down there in Altamont Drive, it sits in a bowl, They have catch basins and the water doesn't have any place to go. It just goes into the catch basins and runs into the ground.
I understand.
So I mean, they're just coming on every day.
So right now, are there 10 projects or 20 projects?
At least you got the 2 that are in queue. You got Arnold Drive. You got Brittany Drive, not just the one in the old Central Hudson right away, but also up on Dover Court coming down. You've got, I mean, there's just numerous ones.
I have a list of ongoing drainage projects issues that I'm aware of on my whiteboard in my office. And there's,
Hey, come on, take a look at our whiteboard.
I'm sure.
Our whiteboard.
Yeah, well, no, we're gonna get to yours, because I've got a question about
All right,
Yeah.
you should ask the engineer. I'll wait for your question.
that. My question is probably the same.
Yours is all engineered and done, and so is Kimball Terrace. That's all engineered and done. All that has to be done is those have to go out to RFP now. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
I got a question for you, Mike. You've got 13 different paving projects this year on. And like I've said at other meetings, we've never had anyone come in here and complain about a pothole, not saying that they aren't out there. But we've literally had people come here crying about drainage. Now,
About potholes?
no, drainage.
It was me.
Yeah, but drainage, again, drainage, you have to
So,
understand, there's drainage on the
I'm going to
road,
cry.
and then there's stormwater drainage. The town board is responsible for stormwater drainage, I'm responsible for drainage by the road. And if I'm not funded, I can't do the project. You can't expect the highway department to do a $500,000 job with $135,000.
Did the building department at any point in time have their machinery back behind Brittany, behind Miss Baker's house?
I can't hear you.
We don't want to get this out of whack, okay? Please, we really don't want to go out of whack.
All right, I'll let you ask your question.
No, I was just gonna, my question was much simpler, because I think all of that is a conversation for another time, and I don't disagree with you, but I agree with Mr. Simpson that we wanna try to stay here. But my question is, or our question, I think, is, we're hearing that there's 2 projects in the queue, and neither one of those are Brittany Drive. So what does in the queue mean exactly? And when does Brittany Drive move from where we are to in the queue?
Okay, I can answer that.
Okay.
So, the status of your project is that we've had letters signed
Right.
to get a survey done by Bernier and Larios, so
Right.
that then we understand what needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will do easements,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll be in the queue.
Okay. And are those easements also that you can sign, or is your signing power specific to the 2 that are already in the queue?
They're specific to those 2 because yours, we don't,
Because we don't need them yet.
we're not there yet.
We don't necessarily know if all of the properties around your property, Miss Albert, need easements necessarily. We don't know what needs to be done yet, because we
Okay.
know that we've got that big swampy area behind you that's shared between you and like 20 other properties, some of whom come off Brittany Drive, some of whom come off of 375, some of whom
Holly
come
Hills.
off Holly Hills.
Right.
And then there's a stream at one point that comes out of that area, but that stream starts as just sort of a low point. So
Right.
he needs to get back there. The town engineer needs to get back there. Those permission slips, essentially, which is what they are, allow
Okay.
him to go and trespass on people's property like yours, and
Okay.
actually go figure out what is there, what the topography is. He needs a natural slope. It doesn't need to be big, but he needs to be able to actually, you know, if it's going to be sort of a simpler fix, he needs to be able to put in a culvert or something back there that the water will naturally run down, because right now it's all just flat and silted up.
Right.
If he doesn't find that the area is going to be conducive for that, he's got to come up with a different plan that might be more expensive, and then, you know,
Okay.
whose property do we need easements for, to do what exactly? That's what he has to figure
Okay.
out. So I'm sorry, it's
No,
not, it's
that's
taken
okay.
a long time, because I know you've been here many times.
Just to go a little further on it, when you get into a drainage project, the first thing that you have to do is you have to get a topography map. You have to have the engineers go in, and in order to do that, you have to have either a temporary easement or easement, like the one behind your house, Central Hudson has that easement back there. They pulled the poles out when they re-ran down to the pump house. And they said that we could use that when we started trying to alleviate some of the issue.
Right.
But it seems that the bog is sinking in there. and there's nowhere for the water to go. So when they get in there to do the temporary, with the temporary easement, to do the topography, then they can sit there and come up with a plan. That's what they're gonna be waiting for, to see. And I know that there was some of the issue was outside the Central Hudson easement.
Right.
So it's gonna require some private easements. Because I know some of the trees that grew up in there, the soft maples that grew up in the last 25, 30 years
Right.
are causing an impediment.
Right, right.
And, but I think they'll come up with some kind of a solution, because I think there is enough pitch on the far end that something can be done. But again, we gotta wait for the maps, and we gotta wait for them to finish what they do.
Okay. Thank you.
So yours is in the works.
It's in the works, but not in the queue. I got it.
Yes,
It's in the works.
We need the queue.
Well, no,
That's okay. No,
what
we're
we
gonna
need,
get
what
the
we need is
study.
the engineer's report
This
first.
is the report, then the queue, then the RFP, then I got it. Okay.
I know that they're a little bit backed up in terms of surveying
Oh,
and
I'm
Mario,
sure.
so,
I'm sure.
we send them the paperwork so that
Okay.
you can get you on the
Yep.
list of,
Great.
So now I've learned that the paperwork is already done for the RFP for Wildwood. That was good information to have. Suppose the
They
next.
said both.
Both?
Well, not
Trumbull
yet.
Terrace too?
Both RFPs
The
are ready to go.
RFP is ready to go?
Paris was held up because
All right.
the DEC permit
That's-
expired.
Did you?
Good information to have. We'll follow up with them.
If you want to get the projects completed, time is running short right now. So if you want to put those RFPs out, I would.
I'll follow up with them tomorrow. Town board is in receipt of the draft minutes. They've been posted now since a couple weeks ago from the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Okay, so the town was alerted that on Friday there was a power outage at the town hall, which the impact of that trickled over until Monday. Computers were down, phones were down, and things like that. So I actually am not in receipt of final financials from the accounting firm. As soon as I am in receipt of those, I'll pass them along to you all, and the shared drive as I have them. Is there any, that's all I have for this evening. Is there any discussion amongst the board? If there's no discussion amongst the board, I'll take a motion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
No.
Is there
I'll
a
make a
motion?
motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second the
Okay,
motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? So carried. Thank you all for coming.
Sorry.
Right, I'm wondering if that's part of the problem.
And that's part of the problem.
Sure.